Happy holidays, everyone. I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. And welcome to part 2 of my 3-part Christmas special of 2015. Now, today I'd like to talk about a question that's been asked for many, many years. What do inanimate objects do when folks aren't around? Well, over the years, there have been many films that knew how to demonstrate that concept in many different ways. For example, Romeo and Juliet demonstrated the lives of garden gnomes. Wreck-It Ralph demonstrated the lives of video game characters. The Brave Little Toaster shown the lives of appliances. And of course, Toy Story shown the lives of toys. And these films knew how to make them into something more than just kids' films. Heck, even How the Toys Saved Christmas was another good film about living toys. But the film I'll be blogging today is a Christmas special from the mid-80s, which happens to be Jim Henson's take on the concept of living toys. So, without further ado, released to television on December 6, 1986, the movie is The Christmas Toy. So, let's get started. When no people are around, the toys still play in the playroom, but since a toy will be frozen forever if a person catches them out of position, they have to be very careful. It's Christmas Eve, and Rugby the Tiger remembers how he was the Christmas toy last year, and thinks he's going to be unwrapped again. And it's up to Apple the doll, whom Rugby supplanted as a favorite toy, to tell him what's in store for him. But Rugby won't believe her, and tries to get into the Christmas package, and lets out Meteora, Queen of the Asteroids, loose. Unfortunately, she doesn't know she's a toy, and thinks she's landed among aliens. It's up to Apple, Mew, and the other toys to get Rugby out of the box and Meteora back in it before they're found and frozen. So, what are my thoughts on this special? Well, I loved it when I was a child, and I still love it to this very day. Also, I believe that this film might have influenced Pixar to make the Toy Story films. But anyway, let's move on to Mustang notes. Now, there's not much information to say, but I will say this, though. This special is a 1986 Emmy Award-nominated ABC television film. It was directed by Eric Till and produced by the Jim Henson Company. It was also sponsored by Kraft Foods. Also, I need to mention that this special originally was introduced by Kermit the Frog when it was released on VHS in 1993. But sadly, in 2008, HIT Entertainment, distributed by Lionsgate, released this special on DVD and edited out Kermit's opening introduction due to legal issues. However, the special isn't the same without Kermit, and I'm happy with the version I still own, ever since I was little. Despite that little editing flaw, the film later inspired a little spin-off television series called The Secret Life of Toys. Also, in my eyes, Jim Henson's puppeteering crew did a great job with making all the toys act alive. However, there are scenes that are pretty dark. For example, the scenes in the hallway, or the parts where the grown-ups are still awake, are pretty creepy for kids to watch. Then again, this was the 80s, but still. And since this is a Jim Henson TV special, that also means it's a musical. And in my opinion, these songs are pretty sweet. However, I'd like to talk about 3 of them. For example, the opening song, Toys Love to Play, is a really fun way of showing what the toys in the children's room are like and what they do. Next is Try the Impossible, which is sung while the gang are planning a rescue mission to get Rugby back to the playroom. And lastly, there's Old Friends, Dear Friends, or Together at Christmas. And in my opinion, it's a really touching song, and it's a nice way of showing love during the holidays. Now, I like to talk about the other two songs, but I don't want to spoil too much for those who haven't seen this special yet. Anyway, let's move on to talk about the toys and their voice actors. First up is our main character, Rugby Tiger, voiced by Gonzo the Great himself, Dave Boulez. As we all know, Jamie was thrilled when she got him as a gift a year prior. Anyway, Rugby, in my opinion, isn't the best character in this special. I mean, yes, he's brave and he's very fast, but the problem with him is that he's full of himself and he believes that Christmas revolves around him. And sometimes he's not nice to some of his friends, but he does get better as the special goes on. Next we have Mew, and not to be confused with this Mew. Anyway, Mew is a toy mouse who belongs to Ouija the cat, voiced by Steve Whitmire, who's voiced Kermit the Frog ever since Jim Henson's death. Now, I gotta admit, Mew is my favorite character in this special. He's also friends with Rugby, despite the fact that he makes fun of Mew, and that the other toys don't like the scent of the catnip that's on him. Anyway, I like Mew for being a great character. I mean, he meows like Ouija does, and he even teaches Rugby how to open a closet door after nearly getting spotted by the adults. But I usually wonder how Mew is able to climb the Christmas tree when he has no arms. I mean, does he use his mouth or his tail, or whatever? Let's just move on, shall we? Next is Apple, a doll voiced by Catherine Mullen, who did play a grouch waitress in the Sesame Street movie, Follow That Bird. Apple is another great character, despite the fact that she didn't like it when Rugby took her place as Jamie's favorite Christmas toy. Now, I find Apple to be a character who makes a lot of sense in this special, and she knows how to set a toy straight. We also have Balthazar, a teddy bear with a cane voiced by Jerry Nelson, most famous for voicing Count Von Count on Sesame Street. Balthazar is another great character. My favorite scene that he's involved with is explaining to all the toys about what Christmas means in the playroom, which is that they'll be having new toys the following morning, and some might not know about things of the world. There's also Belmont, the rocking horse, voiced by Richard Hunt, who voices Scooter on The Muppet Show. I find Belmont to be a really lovable character. I mean, sure, he can get nervous and paranoid, but I still love him. I mean, I can't help it. I'm a Mustang boy. Not a brony, just a Mustang boy. Next up is Cruiser, a toy taxi driver voiced by Brian Henson. And he's my third favorite character in the special, second being Belmont. The things I like about Cruiser is the way he talks, almost like most taxi drivers are in reality. I also like that he says that speed is his game. We also have Bleep, a toy robot voiced by Rob Mills. Not much to say about him other than the fact that he takes part in Apple's mission to rescue Rugby as a robot guard. Next is Jamie's new toy, Meteora, Queen of the Asteroids, voiced by Camille Benora. Now, when I was a child, she did terrify me a bit because of how powerful she sounded. But anyway, when she wakes up out of her box, she doesn't know that she's a toy. Kind of similar to Buzz Lightyear in a way. but it makes me wonder how she can fly. And lastly, Kermit the Frog, who appears during the opening and endings, is voiced by the late Jim Henson himself. Need I say more? And now it's time to move on to my final words. Overall, The Christmas Toy is another decent film to watch during the Christmas season. It's filled with lovable characters, even though one doesn't start out so good. The songs are sweet, and includes a good message about the Christmas spirit. Also, in my eyes, the puppeteering crew does a great job bringing all the toys to life. This is another film I recommend to anyone, young or old. It'll make you laugh, smile, even cry. I give this film an 87% out of 100. Well, that's it for tonight, guys. Be sure to tune in next time for my final Christmas episode. Mustang Power.